Curtis DIYer.
DIYers, here we go again with the usual propaganda. I mean that, and I don't say that loosely. You know, the Drake propaganda. I feel like there has been a weird effort to make hip-hop sound like it is going down the road of irrelevancy. And I feel like, personally, that's predated 2024 and the battle that happened there. But every so once in a while, you get someone who blasts something out, because usually how hip-hop stories work, and this is important context, is that you have a PR or you have a representative of an artist or a label. They'll put out they'll put out something that is a stat, and they'll send out the same sort of PR message, the same press release, and then the blogs receive it. They type their own versions of it. Sometimes they copy and paste it. But it's something about this one that feels a little bit too closely tied to Drake. You might have seen this headline, and it sounds like a version of something we've heard before. Hip Hop All Day reported this, and it was the first time I saw it. It says, there has been no rap song charting inside the top 10 on the Billboard Hot 100 for over 9 months. Weird stat, but okay, bro. It's the longest drought since the streaming era began. The last to be released was Drake's What Did I Miss in 2025. Okay. I mean, I don't really keep up with the charts, but I feel like that's not true. Oh, it's not. After this was reported, you started to see pages pop up that were like, wait a minute, so is Luther just a figment of our imagination? Which, by the way, on the day of reporting this is the 1-year anniversary of the Luther music video, ironically. Certified Boogeyman said, did you not pay attention to these charts right here? Where it shows Luther obviously sitting there at number 9? Yikes. Okay, errors happen all the time. But what happens when it keeps getting reported in different places? Now, I don't think this gentleman is somebody that is part of this quote unquote alleged campaign, but shout out my dog, Victor Bays. He did post something I think that was really ironic. He says, Drake reacts to What Did I Miss not making it to the Billboard #1, debuting as the #2 song in the country on Billboard 100. Mind you, this was last year. I think this paints an interesting picture to support the headline that I got. Is Drake paying for all of this propaganda? Because it's not the only place it popped up. It was on Rap TV. It was on Kirko. Some people call that OVO. And then it was on Complex. The Complex one is the one that gets a little bit spicy. But last year, you saw how important these charts mean to someone like a Drake when he said on his Insta story, a bunch of invisible face emojis, and he says, suppressor on the #1 spot. I'm taking that soon. Don't worry. One song or another. Rule changes and all. So there is this record here held by Michael Jackson of the most #1s that he has had his eyes set upon. And it got rudely disrupted by a few diss songs in 5 business days by Kendrick Lamar. And it has been a struggle for him to get back there, right? And so he's been watching this closely. It probably doesn't help that in the month of April, that Michael Jackson movie is getting ready to come out and probably going to help chart some songs out of nowhere. I don't know. The timing just seems like it's just working against him. This story, though, like I said, that got repeated in many different places. It only gives one point of view of what's going on in hip hop on a mainstream level. Because do we not acknowledge this? Feat by T.I. T.I. said, let them know, has officially been certified gold by the RIAA. The track becomes the first single released in 2026 across all genres to reach gold status. See, these type of stats get conveniently pushed out because it doesn't help a narrative or a campaign. That narrative and campaign that I believe is the game needs Drake.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna.
It's not the same without Drake. The fun is gone, guys. It's not supporting that campaign. So what do these folks do? They like to argue about stats. I don't know anybody that sits around and argues about, man, or even stresses. A regular citizen, listener. I don't know any regular listener or citizen that stresses about it's really bothering me that hip hop's not in the top 100 because they don't get paid from that. In fact, there was a skit about it. Want to hear it? Here it goes.
Man. Yes, sir.
Hey, hold on. What is
this? That new J Rich?
This shit the hardest song on my mama. Yeah. Hey, this some of the hardest shot ever. Hey, how much this nigga sell first week?
Shit, like 23,000.
23,000?
Yeah.
RDC World.
Hey, what's the problem?
Hey, either turn the shit off or I gotta walk.
What? You was just
Come on.
No, I was not.
Yes, you
No,
was.
I was not. I thought that was somebody else. I thought that was
Nigga,
somebody
I just
else.
said it was J
No,
Rich.
no, bro. No. If I can outsell you, I'm not listening to you, bro.
You can't outsell him. You're not a rapper.
We went to high school with 23,000 people.
Nigga, no, we didn't.
But I'm telling you, it was a lot of people in there.
Like 6,000.
No, hell no, bro. Hell no. Look, niggas gonna call me corny and lame,
Who gonna
bro.
call you corny for listening to J Rich?
Bro, a lot of people, bro. You don't want to listen when niggas.
What the fuck? Bro, is that the nigga that sold 23K? Oh, hell no. That nigga that sold 23K, bro.
Could you imagine if people walked around with this academic-like logic about sales and how lame someone is based upon the number of sales they did or did not have? And could you imagine if that ruled the way that we listen to music? That seems like follower behavior, doesn't it? Shout out to RDC. Yeah, that sounds like follower behavior, doesn't it? For everybody who is so prideful on having unique hot takes in this era, for people who are so prideful on being so unique in what they do, this is a very accurate vision of what this is. What's your take on Pusha T reference tracks? Red herring fallacies. We're not talking about that. Have a good day. Continue, you bot.
Bro, it's just their opinion, bro. Come on, bro. This shit don't matter.
I could probably outsell that nigga, bro. Y'all lame as hell.
Hey, can I roll with you?
Boy, oh boy.
Bro, yes, bro. Come on, bro.
You gonna go?
What the fuck, bro?
Hey, bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. You lame as hell, bro. You never.
Just imagine that. Imagine that if sales made you do things like that. Who does this sound like? Oh, it sounds like this guy. I'll spare you the full video, but if you want to get an idea of people who are obviously pro in their coverage, positive in their coverage of Drake, right? Even when they give criticism, it's like, you know, soft punches. This is somebody who was very, very supportive of Drake, a diehard of said. Here's what he had to say about the current state of the game and how, and this is also contributing to the same timeline, the same campaign, the same propaganda of hip hop is going downwards in a downward spiral. Listen to what he had to say about the state of the game and why Kendrick Lamar is the one to blame.
Bro, I honestly, like, yes, there's a Kendrick factor, right? Like, I think Kendrick took the fun out of music, right? You know.
Kendrick took the fun out of music. Single-handedly. With one hand. He pulled out a plug and everybody stopped dancing. It's either Kendrick has the power to do such a thing, or his power is nothing compared to what Drake is. I don't know what side. This feels like the same broken record over and over again. He took the fun out of it. He never talks.
Somebody gonna have to tell it, and I'm gonna tell it.
He never speaks. Is he going in these studios and taking out equipment? Is he putting a stop? Is there any conversations about him putting a stop to the fun? I remember when Watch the Party Die came out and they were like, man, nobody want to hear this woke shit. That's what they said. Yeah, that's a good question. How was Act defining fun? Because what was the game before? Let me let him continue, but what was the game before all of this? The current state.
know, this nigga just came in with a whole lot of like all that woke bullshit.
Feels like politics, don't it?
Like
Right-wing politics.
He's like the nigga who just like fucks up the party. Like everybody, like the music stops. Like, what the fuck is this nigga doing, man? He did fuck up the game. I ain't gonna lie, he fucked it up. It's not fun right now. But I will say this, chat.
Lil Baby's release, Drake's released about 70, 80 times. Young Thug's released, and his insane Whiteface album. Why is all of this being put on the shoulders of Kendrick and not on the people who've actually released the music?
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
You don't think that they share in any of the blame? How about we zero it in on Drake for making the unwise business decision to rival his business, his reputation against a Kendrick Lamar in a rap battle he had no business being in? Are y'all allergic to saying this nigga should have never did that shit? Got his ass whooped. Fucked up the whole game. Especially when in the beginning it can be argued that a Drake was the aggressor after like thatting, dropping multiple songs and he was a part of that conversation. But what happens to giving some of the blame to the other people who represent that fun? What are they not doing? What are they not doing? And who's to say that we're not having fun? Insane.
I do believe that music has turned into a passive experience. Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. There was times that I used to be excited. I'm waiting. I'm counting down the moments. It's midnight. I'm about to listen to these songs. Yo, so-and-so is dropping. Oh, new music.
Bitch, that ain't happened since Tower Records has been around. This entire thing has been passive. Since the introduction of streaming, this thing became passive. I don't know, because having access to every single recorded song of all time for $10 probably makes the experience very passive. Hey, I'll get to it when I get to it. I've already paid. Hey, I'm probably going to listen to this one. What are you talking about? What? Were we not talking about in 2023 and 2022 the death of mainstream rap and how labels were going to be deprioritizing their focus on not just rappers? They wouldn't get away from rappers. They wanted to get into Afrobeats and Latin music because of the direction that music was going into. You know what this feels like? This feels like the same thing that happens in politics. When one president comes in there and tries to get things into motion. For instance, I'll give you a specific example. When Obama put some things into motion, and it takes time for these things to actually show up in terms of the results in the economy, and then the very next president that comes in takes advantage of that and then marks it off as a win for them, even though it was set in motion before they actually took office. It seems like the current condition of things was already going to happen because of the regime that was in power. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. The mindless, brainless, anti-intellectual music that was already being made. The music that was meant to just be background music for kids with already literacy problems, ADHD problems. It was already heading in that direction. And the type of music that was popular at that time was music that helped your brain rot a little bit more. It didn't get in the way. It didn't have anything for you to think about, because why do you want to think when you got 1,000 screens in front of you? Phone screen, video screen, PC screen, TV screen, Netflix. It was music that was meant to turn you into a zombie. So this fun that we talk about had a lot of flaws. And it definitely wasn't for the healthy consumption of music listeners. Interesting takes.
Music is out today, bruh. Now when new music come out, nigga, I'm like, man, nigga, it might go like 4 or 5 days without me listening to it.
You know what's funny? That seems like the same experience for a lot of hip hop heads.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Because after a while, it becomes a consumption of junk food, is what music was in 2023, 2022, when you got folks like the folks that represent the Kendrick, the folks that represent sort of the ones who are not even sort of the ones that are aligned with the traditions of hip hop, the ones that are skillful, passionate, the ones that take time with their craft, the ones that actually create a world and don't make music a disposable situation. Did he forget the CEO of the former CEO of Spotify, Daniel Ek, went on record in his articles forward saying, the artists that take longer time to make albums won't succeed in this new space. So he, in turn, in a very backwards way, were asking for artists to produce quantity over quality. And you see what you're seeing right now is the end results of those long years of bullshit. You trying to tell me 5 business days could have crushed the regime that was there before? Maybe it wasn't worth it.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
If what a man did in 5 business days can crush the foundation of what y'all had in terms of fun, your fun was flawed.
There's no more need. There's no more like, it's not like an event to listen to music anymore. It's more like, yo, you heard that shit? Oh, word is hot? Or like, even some songs come out, like you might hear somebody else played, or you might be like, yo, damn, what song is that? And then you might listen to it, but like,
ironically, he's literally describing what the music experience has been underneath the Drake regime, if you tell me. You ask me. That's literally what it's been. I'm going to skip from this. I have no more interest in this. I just wanted to bring that up. I thought this was funny, right? This is not a part of the story, but I thought this was hilarious because it's like there's a meme going around where you get folks who are in their 30s that are listening to some of the nonsense, the fun that he speaks about, and they're reacting to what that feels like when you're in your 30s. Just watch this clip. Tell me if this is not a lot of folks out here right now.
I'm chilling in the hood with the gangsters, drinking liquor, hanging out, don't care about nothing in the world, acting crazy and silly, I don't care no more. I do this and that, and that's all right. Hang with my boys and the pretty girls, go to bar clubs, hang out, get drunk, then next day sleep it off.
Yup, there you go. Shout out to Mr. Washington. What sparked the idea about one regime dealing with the consequences or even the benefits of one regime, let's say the consequences in this case, right? One example of this came from this post here. Shout out to Eric Vincent. Had a chance to actually chop it up with him. He said, Drake and other fast food rappers, that's what we're going to call them, fast food rappers who prioritize, in my words, quantity over quality. Other fast food rappers had rap in a place where their fans didn't care about listening to the music. All they care about is cheerleading the chart placement, not the substance or creativity. That's a bar. That's a bar. This endless cycle that you see all of this go in, man, it is insane. But let's talk about the possibility of this being a paid campaign. This is what really got me interested. So, shout out to this individual. I think the name will pop up here in a second. TRVP, or I think it's just Trap Forever. He had this video about this possibly being a paid campaign, claiming hip hop is struggling on the charts. Because if you ask anybody that's aware and looking at all of this, in the direction, the tone of all this, it seems like there are media partners, media friends, media allies of Drake, and we still got more to go through, who are purposely trying to paint a narrative that clears the runway for Iceman to come out. There's been so much news about that project and very little project. Peep this point of view out real quick.
To be able to spot a paid campaign by a label or PR agency, right? Let me show you how to do it, right? So I was busy today running around and whatnot, and I went on Twitter for a little bit and I saw this post, and it was like, hip hop is now going 9 straight months without a top 10 hit on a Billboard Hot 100. The last hip hop track to make it in the top 10 was Drake's What Did I Miss in July of 2025. And I was like, that doesn't sound right, you know? So then I seen somebody in the comments. Somebody was like, Luther by Kendrick Lamar and SZA was top 10 or number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100 in August of 2025. And I was like, wait, but didn't FDO and What You Saying by Lil Uzi go top 10? But FDO didn't because of the Christmas songs. It almost did, even with the Christmas songs and What You Saying as well. So I was like, oh, all right, I was mistaken, right? But then I saw another post by Hip Hop All Day that says there's been no rap song charted inside the top 10 on Billboard Hot 100 for over 9 months, the longest drought since the streaming era began. The last song to be released was Drake's What Did I Miss in July of 2025.
Who's sitting around as a statistician that is figuring this shit? I just thought about that. Who's a statistician that's sitting around waiting for specific dates like, oh, if a song doesn't pop up here, then we got to make sure that we acknowledge it. Who is the one taking these stats down? That seems like a very boring job.
I'm like, Hip Hop All Day and Kirko posted this on a random Wednesday in April, right? I finished doing what I'm doing. I go back on Twitter. I see Rap TV. There has not been a rap song in the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100 in 9 months, the longest amount of time since the streaming era began. The last hip-hop track in the top 10 was Drake's What Did I Miss in July of 2025, which is not only false information, but now I'm like, okay, this is a paid campaign. Like, somebody paid for this to be posted and promoted. And again, I don't dislike paid campaigns or whatever, but I just want you guys to be better able to spot when something is a paid campaign. Kirko has 400,000 followers on Twitter. Hip Hop All Day has 482,000 followers on Twitter. Rap TV has a whopping 1.2 million followers on Twitter, gang. I just want you guys to know when propaganda is being pushed toward you. Now, this Drake fans are gonna be like, look, Drake is gonna save hip hop with Iceman. We have been getting great hip hop music. Hip hop has been dominating the charts to start the year. The Billboard 200, not the Billboard 100. What about they get number one? So who gives a fuck, man?
Don't none of us work for Billboard. Don't none of us work for Billboard. Even if you are a stan of said artist, you don't enjoy any of the spoils, any of the results, any of the success. You don't get a plaque. Your income does not increase at your job if your favorite artist is number 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on the Billboard charts. That's like gangbanging for Coca-Cola. What?
Telling y'all, like, who cares? If you don't like any hip hop that has come out this year, you're not a fan of hip hop. You feel me? This shit does not matter. Like, I hope Drake drops Iceman and gets all the records or whatever so you guys can, like, shut the fuck up.
Oh, God.
Because you're so fucking annoying about this shit. But this is propaganda, bro. This is paid for campaign to be posted by big pages to keep this circulating and keep it flowing and be like, oh, yeah, this guy's the biggest rapper, and when he comes back, he's going to save the planet. You feel me? Or whatever the case may be. I don't know, gang. Like,
so with even the ones he mentioned, they weren't the only ones that post. And I don't want to say every single outlet that posts this is a part of the same paid campaign, because some outlets, they're merely silent carbon copies of the most popular outlets, right? If they see Complex posted, then they're a smaller blog and they'll post it knowing that it's going to get a lot of the same traffic, knowing the prioritization of that story based upon a bigger outlet posting it. Some people are just copycatting the same messages, the same copy, because they didn't get the press release. But I think it's really, really interesting how this plays out, because even the ones that he mentioned, right? That's about 2 million folks that you can supposedly reach, assuming the algorithm is playing fair, right? That's something that's worth paying for some people, especially if you are in pursuit of a record in terms of charts. Here's where shit gets really, really interesting though. You just can't let the internet have access to these things. Shout out to Jacob B, because Jacob B kind of put this out here on Twitter. He did a little bit of research and all that. And he titled this, Exposed. If you ever wondered why Complex Music, who also posts this, is so easy to post pro-Drake propaganda. And it's not even just a matter of being positive. It's a matter of out of nowhere. Why are we being bombarded with these stats? Out of nowhere. Why is this what is the necessity of it happening right now? The reason why it's so easy for them, Complex Music, to post Drake propaganda, it's because he's in business with the CEO, Aaron Levant. Oh, God.
Somebody's gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
What do you mean he's in business? The platform isn't unbiased. They are here to sway your opinion only one way. The publication cannot be trusted. With such an accusation, I hope that you can provide a little bit of evidence. Key people here at Complex. Okay. Yeah, it's a Wikipedia search away. All right, what is it? Where's your In 2019, Drake joined a round of funding for Network. Oh, I was missing this detail. Actually, let me make sure that I have this situated for you to see. Oh, important details here. Rapper Drake has a business relationship with Aaron Levant, one of the key founders and or the key members of Complex News, serving as an investor and partner in Levant's live streaming shopping and content platform, Network. In 2019, Drake joined a round of funding for Network founded by Aaron, along with Jamie Iovine and Gaston Dominguez. Partnership, the collaboration involves utilizing the Network platform to sell exclusive merchandise, artist-driven collections, and concert tickets, often partnership with Live Nation. Levant is also, who also founded Agenda and Complex Con, has engaged Drake to help build a platform that connects with culture's creators and superfans. Aaron is also the current CEO of Complex, a cultural media brand that was acquired by the Network platform. Boy, oh boy.
Have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Yep, emphasis as Afro Butterfly just said on culture's creators. Duh. Like, hey man, do with that information what you will. That surely doesn't help these narratives. You know who else don't help these narratives? Dumbass takes like this from the legendary Isaac Hayes' son. He has had some of the worst hip hop takes, and I want to celebrate this black man who has done some amazing things in tech with his fan base app. He has the dumbest. Him and Ray Daniels got some of the dumbest hip hop takes I've ever seen. The dumbest. If you're going to be a part of the propaganda machine, you might not want to make it this obvious. He says, the Kendrick Drake beef killed commercial rap music. It turned hip hop into an engagement art form, not a chart performing one. Everyone showed up, debated, replayed, picked sides, ran the numbers up. Meanwhile, the Billboard Hot 100 kept moving. It's because you Negroes is out here fighting them white folks and left us. They left us. We got to get back in the good graces of them people over there. If we're not on the charts, what is this thing we got called hip hop? It ain't mainstream, I'll tell you that much. The beef fed the masses and killed the charts. That's a bad thing? I see why labels are cutting back. They were cutting back before 2024, sir. Go look at Ebro, who reported this from an insider that he had in 2023. This is the direction it was already heading in. As I mentioned earlier, we did videos on this channel about it. In 2023, they were saying hip hop was already getting deprioritized by the labels, not because of people picking sides and everyone showed up debated. It's not because of engagement farming. It's because simply they saw more money to be made, and they already pillaged through the resources of hip hop, mainstream hip hop, and they saw another opportunity in Afro beats and Latin music. That was the conversation. So what are we talking about? I think this revisionist history is not actually pointing to whatever got inflicted. Nigga, that was one business week.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna.
The battle itself might have been a duration of 1 month, and be it the biggest battle that has ever happened to rap. There is no conversation about where rap was already heading in. Mainstream rap was already heading in. If you remember, we were doing stories damn near every other week about people saying, I'm not paying $400 to go see Lil Baby in concert because he's doing karaoke over his lyrics. He's not even rapping the lyrics. And that's not just an assassination of him. That's a lot of people out here that was just taking, they were going they were giving the very least of effort to their shows because they were getting paid a whole lot of money to do very little. That was already the conversation. He goes on to end this by saying, see, I see why labels are cutting back. Black folks, oh, this is a black folk problem now. Black folks would rather tear down artists from both sides when collaboration is what drives expansion. Were black folks the one that says you rapping like you want to free the slaves?
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Were black folks the one that said, man, cut this Harriet Tubman music off? Was black folks the one bringing up, for whatever reason, Martin Luther King's history of alleged infidelity to have debates about a rap battle? Was that black folks that did that? The fuck are we talking about? He has the worst rap takes. And the only reason I'm covering this is because I think it only makes it look worse if this is indeed or allegedly a paid campaign by Drake. I think this looks a little bit sus under the sun. I like this rebuttal here by Akademiks. He's responding back to this message and he says, don't the same kind of bickering happen in pop and K-pop? They're still up on the charts. The internet discourse doesn't reflect anything. I saw all types of talk about labels not investing as much in hip hop in 2022 to 2023 prior to the battle. If anything, the battle made hip hop the center of attention in the middle of a drought. That battle was everything that mainstream hip hop needed. Because you weren't seeing, like, that is probably the closest that we have come in shit, I can't even tell you how long, to a monoculture experience in which when things dropped from Drake or Kendrick, it had all of our attention. Whether you were into politics or whether you were into sports, it didn't matter. Dog, I was watching, shout out to John Hicks, who does like GoPro biking through LA. In the middle of him biking through Skid Row, he was like, man, did you guys hear that Euphoria? It's incredible, man. I was like, even in my relaxing content, you talk about the rap battle? That was a very monoculture experience. Hip hop, especially mainstream rap, mainstream rap needed that. He goes on to say, we need to quit with the revisionist history and address the actual issues at hand because the genre needs more than just the coddling of Drake in order to see a resurgence. All these artists that received massive investments from labels and made a big name for themselves are at the tail end of their career. If they don't invest in young talent, the fall off is inevitable. I'm glad the music means more to me than just commerce, because depending on numbers in the casual white audience, to enjoy the art form is a miserable proposition. I don't know how you could read it any other way, right? And ain't no disrespect to my Caucasian viewers in the building, but you should already know. If you watching this channel, you should already know the program. When you get rappers who are talking about chart positioning and lack thereof, when they're saying, man, the crossover is just not as aggressive. It's just we're not succeeding in getting and reaching a certain demographic. We know who the fuck they're talking about. They're talking about kids that don't give a damn about this culture, who are far removed from this culture, who view black culture in a very voyeuristic and almost parody-like point of view. They're the same ones that were jumping on these apps and saying some of the worst shit that you ever heard about black folks in general. Like, a lot of that shit got so racist. And it was always some niggas on Twitter that had soccer players as their avatars. Boston Celtics, for whatever reason, was an avatar. Football. Like, it was always some weird shit saying from... I remember that vividly. But it's easy to forget that when your fave is no longer dominating these conversations. Before I get to that video, I thought this is another interesting point about how we're currently experiencing what this individual was calling the Reddit-facation, named after Reddit, the platform Reddit, and you see how toxic them conversations can be. This is the Reddit-facation of rap and hip-hop discourse. What do you mean when you say that?
Today, I want to talk about the Reddit-facation of hip-hop and how over time, but especially after COVID, we have this rush of people who make it painfully obvious that their only frame of reference of rap and hip-hop are Reddit forums and Rate Your Music. Okay? It is when you tokenize an absolute legend to the rap and hip-hop game so that they are almost separate from the culture that they poured their life into. Okay? It is not a problem that Connor's favorite rapper is MF Doom. It is a problem when Connor's only frame of reference of rap and or hip-hop is MF Doom. Nothing before, nothing around, nothing after. Just what they were told on a forum is tough. It makes them think that they are the authority of something they don't know jack shit about. And so we got a whole bunch of little Connors walking around here, making accounts and podcasts and everything and becoming the authority of something they don't know about. Stop that shit. Today,
the biggest problems, and this is not, I don't even want to make this about stand-up versus stand-up. The biggest problems with any stand is when you think that that genre begins and ends with the emergence of that artist. when they themselves wouldn't say that it began and end with them. Matter of fact, they probably, especially if they came under a certain generation of hip hop, would immediately tell you, no, there is no me without me being exposed to XYZ. There is no this without this. So I want to make sure I pay homage. Some folks, not so much. Some people just love to take from certain sources and tell you jack shit about it. But it's the fans who think that their hip hop experience starts with their favorite artists. And their whole frame of reference, their whole confidence, their whole arrogance that they speak of when they try to defend the artist or the state of the culture, it begins and ends with their stand-up of one person. But this is bigger than one person. This is hip hop. This is bigger than one. Matter of fact, even beyond the cultural framework of hip hop, the industry would tell you this industry is a lot bigger than you. The industry would tell them it's bigger than them. But what happens, you get fans who are so wrapped up in their obsession, their nostalgia, they can't hear nor see anything outside of that. But let's not get it twisted. Don't forget what this music industry is all about. The reason why we're even entertaining the conversation about this being paid propaganda is because the industry has always operated in such a way.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Shout out to the Bay Area legend, Richie Rich. He sat down here with All the Smoke, and he talked about some of his most successful years underneath the major label system, and he brought something up that made him realize just how fake the music industry is behind closed doors, and that pretty much any of the success can be paid for. Peep this out.
We get back to New York, I tell Leor and Russell, I said, you know what? I don't think I want to do this shit if it ain't no money in it. Leor told me, he said, let me tell you something about the music shit, Rich. He said, this shit is all payola. He was like, I can make your grandmama the hottest bitch in the country. All I need is 6 months.
He called my grandmama a bitch. I'm gonna get out that contract that day. Somebody get hurt.
He said, ain't none of this shit real. He said, the reason we telling you this, because you a solid motherfucker. He said, so if you want to fuck around with it, it's good, but we just gonna let you know that ain't none of this shit real. The Seasoned Veteran album dropped. Let's Ride was the first single. That's back when the music box was out, when you used to watch the videos, you call and do the shit, right? Come on.
I never forget, I had access to the music box. I was living in Long Beach, and my pops, he wasn't home, and I didn't know how this worked. I didn't know he was gonna get billed for it. And I texted because I wanted to see Foxy Brown in this one Jay-Z video, because my friend said if you look real closely you can see her Tata, and I was like, for real? All right, I'm gonna go home onto the music box and I'm gonna call it in. And I called it in, that shit showed up on the bill, and I almost got my ass whooped. I almost got my ass whooped. So shout out to the music box. I almost got my ass whooped. I almost got my ass whooped trying to catch me a vision of Foxy Brown titty. That's what I got. That's what I got. I remember that time period for sure.
Nigga, I'm sitting inside my mama house, Jack. The music box come on. They say #1 debuting this week on the box. Crazy. Let's Ride. I'm on. I'm like, nigga, I'm #1. I call Leor. I said, Leor, I'm #1 on the box. He said, I know, Richie, we bought the spot. Give
Oh my God.
me a minute, I'll call you back.
So for those that don't know how Music Box operated, right? Basically, you as a viewer, I think it was a part of whatever your cable experience was, you would go to this channel that would play music videos nonstop all day long. You could call a certain number, put in a certain code, and that code would then automatically flag, or I don't know if somebody was behind, I don't know how it worked behind the scenes, but that code would then show up on that cable channel and it would play a music video. He just said, damn, I'm #1 on Music Box. and Leor Cohen, who was the CEO at that time, said, I know, we paid for it. I'll call you back in a minute. Take this conversation back to these conversations about the charts. You think that stopped? Continue.
That's how I go too, dog.
And when he said that, I didn't like it no more.
Yeah.
I didn't, because I really thought that people fuck with me because of what I did.
But you come from the authentic grind.
Right.
Yeah.
So I thought it was real, right? You know, when you listen to the radio, you hear niggas say, this LL Cool J, man, and whenever I'm in town, you know, I used to think that nigga was up there.
Nah, that's a drop.
So I go to the radio station, they show me this shit, they like, let's do some drops. Chewy Gomez in there. He like, Rich, can you do some drops for me? I'm like, what's drops? He said, just come over here and say X, Y, Z. So I get on there, I say some shit, I make a couple mistakes.
Can you imagine listening to the radio and then you hear like, man, shout out to, hey, yeah, shout out to 92.3, this is Jay-Z. That's Hov. And you like, this nigga Hov is at the record station. He got the record. I'm going there right now. Not knowing he recorded that 6 months prior. We know too much today because that's the way that DJ drops work. When they say, Power 106. Hey, yo, what's up with you, man? This is Curtis King, and I'm up here rocking with Power 106. Imagine being at home like, get my car keys. He at the station, right? That's crazy, but it's sobering to hear.
I said, let me do it again. He said, don't worry about it. Edit, chop the shit I fucked up out, taped it back together, played my voice back perfectly. I said, oh, wow. So it's a piece of paper sitting on the thing. I said, what is that? He said, oh, that's today's playlist. So I grab it, and it's got the times and all the songs that's gonna come on. So I'm like, damn, so them niggas ain't really up here when I be hearing that shit? So it just was hella fake. It was a lot of fake shit going on, right? And it was fucking me up. It was fucking me up. So I take this piece of paper when I leave the station. I'm in the car. So I call this little chick, right? And it's like 4:30 and I got the list. I told her, I said, damn. I said, you listen to the radio? She said, yeah. I said, it'd be crazy if they play XYZ right now. And then that shit came on, right?
Yeah.
She said, it's on right now, it's on. It's on that you just said. I was like, no way. I said, let me turn it on. So we rolling, I'm talking shit, smoking, I'm high, I'm tripping
hilarious.
now. Next song about to come on, I said, it'd be a fool if they play woo, woo, woo. That would come on. She said, you're batting 1,000. This shit's, they're playing it.
You leave it up to me, I'll do the same thing. Shout out to Richie one time. The legend. You leave it up to me, I'll do the same thing. That's some shit I do. Learn some new shit for the first time and immediately start talking about it like I'm a professional on it. What you listening to right now? Are you on a live stream? Wouldn't it be crazy right now if he was covering a story on Drake right now? He is! How did you know? Type shit, you feel me? Connections in this game. Insane. So I bring up that last video really to help you to get a point of view that I think is worthy of questioning. Are these indeed paid campaigns by that Canadian Light Bright? I'm sure he ain't the only one that partakes in this. Obviously, we saw what the jail calls that got released with Young Thug and how casually they talked about getting in certain playlists and the price for certain boosting and all this. We know that this is going on. But it becomes such a weird conversation when the narrative is hip hop is suffering without this guy who obviously has shown his disconnect, his cultural ignorance, not of the names, not of the music he listened to, but just the nuance that he missed out on being outside the States, not growing up in these environments. So when he heard certain codes and certain things of things you don't do this. It just fell on deaf ears because that was his upbringing, indeed was his upbringing. His lifestyle's very different. So we have these conversations about culture. I see why he seems to lean in on very right-wing type of politics because he probably feels a certain type of hate right now or a certain type of disgust with hip-hop. How dare you, after all the hits that I provided you, after all the Billboard charts that all the records that I broke, I'm still a black man? Yeah, I might code switch here and there, but I'm still a black man, damn it. He might be feeling a certain way, and I think it's so self-serving, so narcissistic. If this is indeed one of those campaigns to make it a black problem, to make it a rap problem, hip-hop ain't never needed no Billboard charts to gauge its success, to gauge its health. It starts with the music. It starts with the conversations amongst the people. And them folks in them buildings and Billboard are not having the kind of conversations we're talking about. But seeing the obsession around, like we just had this conversation, I feel like at the beginning of the year about the absence from the charts. And then it's crazy because it feels like the conversations about the absence are so loud in comparison when someone casually gets in there and breaks other records. Why are we not having conversations about the artists that are breaking records in this time right now for direct-to-consumer sales? Even mainstream artists. because that doesn't fit the narrative. And the charts mean something to whomever is paying for said campaign. DIYers, those are my thoughts. You let me know what you think.
DIY.
Tear in your eye. Don't